Let's talk about values and ethics. What are values? What are ethics? When we talk about values, values means how we are going to contribute to the society, what is important in society, what is considered better and good. What is the difference between morality and ethics and values? Morality are general and prescriptions based on customs, traditions, what we have to do, what we don't have to do. That is morality. Ethics are specific, related to specific professions. Ethics are related to specific field of work. They are based on morals. They are based on uh, what is the application of morality to a particular field of work. They tell you what is the right conduct, what is not right conduct in a given situation. They tell you about manners, they tell you about taste, customs, they tell you about priorities to be kept while working, they tell you about code of conduct, they tell you about guidelines about what you should do, what you should not do. Values are broader, they tell you about what are the priorities, what are those things which you should give higher priorities. That is called values. Ethics reflect morality, values, and beliefs in a combined way. And in every profession, we have some ethical code that is called professional ethics. And in every profession, it is now expected that the people should understand their professional values, professional ethics, and they should try to follow them. If a doctor complete if a student completes his MBBS course, then he has to go through and he has to assert the medical ethics and abide by those principles. If a person becomes a government servant, he has to follow the professional ethics which are required from bureaucrats, and he has to abide by them. If you enter judicial services and you become judge, then you have to follow the ethical conduct, code of conduct prescribed by your services, and you have to follow them. Every individual also has to follow some basic ethical norms, but whether the person is working anywhere or not. Some basic guidelines, like everybody should try to follow the government's guidelines. Everybody should respect nation. Everybody should pay taxes and other dues to the government. Everybody should contribute to preservation of the environment. Everybody should try to protect and preserve our heritage, our cultural heritage, our monuments. Everybody should try to promote scientific temper. So these are common guidelines for everyone, and all of us should try to follow them, right? Now, there are some basic theories which are based on how we have to work. One such theory is called utilitarianism. Utilitarianism says that do something through which the society should benefit. If you do something and through your action there is benefit to the society, then this is good. And if there is harm to others, if there is harm to the society, then avoid such kind of actions, right? There are many theories on moral development. They are available on Google search. You can find about them. One theory is Kohlberg's theory. It is based on uh, how people give importance to moral rules. It has given basic guidelines regarding we should respect justice, we should respect logic, we should respect uh, the facts and try to follow them in our day-to-day life. Another theory is by Carol Gilligan's. Carol Gilligan's theory also gives high importance to reason, emotions, abstractions, care, concern, empathy, because we all live in a society, and in our society, it is our collective effort. We all have to collectively strive to bring about better social infrastructure. Another theory is called cost benefit theory. Cost benefit theory says that we should undertake cost benefit analysis while taking any action. And this theory says that if you are using any social resources, there is some cost. If you are breathing, there is air that you are taking. Now this cost is there. The environment is incurring the cost for you, and it is your duty to ensure that as much cost you are causing to the society, you must give benefit back. So this is another approach. So professional ethics and professional values, right? They give you the fundamental basic principles, what you should do, how you should lead your life. Now it has become very important for all of us to safeguard environments. This has become necessity. Why it is necessity? Because if we will not pay attention to the environment will get degraded further, and at some point it may become very difficult for human beings to live, because we have already reached a stage where it is very difficult for all of us to survive, because we all are causing very high level of environmental degradation, and rising cost to the environment can be devastating for the entire universe. So this has now become what we call as environmental ethics. Environmental ethics means it is the duty of every individual to pay attention to the environment. You know, every year large number of accidents take place in oceans, particularly with regard to oil tankers. And there are oil spills. And due to oil spills in the oceans, large number of living species in the oceans get affected, and large number of animals, fish die. This is due to human actions. This is a huge loss to the environment. This is a huge loss to the ecology. The environment, the ecology, the oceans, they are adversely affected by human actions. And this adverse impact is visible in the form of degradation of life. Every day, thousands of species are becoming extinct. Search on Google, you will find thousands of species are becoming extinct. Means we will be having less number of species available. With this pace, one day you'll find oceans without fish. One day you will find forests without trees, forests without animals. One day you will find mountains without glaciers. One day you will find air without oxygen. This is all man-made. We are here to be blamed. Our next generation will blame me. Our next generations will blame you, because we people are causing damage to the ecosystem. Our ancestors did not damage the environment. India was agrarian society, village society. People used to live in villages. There never used to be any pollution. People used to grow in their farms, eat whatever they could grow, and they used to, everyone used to rear one cow. They used to keep protect the cow protected, and everyone used to follow a lifestyle which was respecting environment, which was respecting ecology. That was the practice that we Indians used to follow. But during last 3 4 decades, we have adopted massive urbanization. What is the result? Instead of villages, today more population is there in cities. Today, India's 75% population is now concentrated in cities. And these cities are living hells. Yes, they are living hells. Because if you will go to Delhi or if you will go to Mumbai, you will find plenty of slums, which where you cannot stay for 1 hour. People are spending their whole life. I mean, this is really terrible. How people live in slums. They are not able to get clean water. They are not able to get clean earth, clean air. They are not able to get any playground. They are not able to get any garden for walking. They are living miserable life, worse life than animals. This is the harsh reality. And this is a man-made problem. It is not a problem created by God. It is a problem created by we human beings. Why? The planners at the top, those people who are sitting in Niti Aayog, Yojana Ayog, those people who are making the plans, they made blunders. They decided to promote urbanization. They decided to encourage people to adopt urbanization, and they made no plans for proper urbanization. People migrated from villages to urbans, to cities in search of jobs and found no jobs. And ultimately, they had to settle down into slums. Rural industries were collapsed. Rural entrepreneurship was collapsed. No training to people were given about how to live a rural life. In your schooling of 12 years, have you received any training about how to live a life in village? Have you received any education, any training about rural business, rural innovations, rural entrepreneurship? Have you got any immersion into rural area, villages? Your school or your college might have taken you for industrial visit to an industry, but has any school or college shown you village life? Has any school or college oriented you towards village life? You're trained in English language so that you can join a multinational company, but you are not trained in your own mother tongue. You are not trained in your own culture. You are not trained in your own background. In fact, through the modern education system, we are creating a feeling of hatred among the youth towards their own culture, towards their own traditions. The modern youth shuns away the tradition. A very rich, rare, amazing tradition will wither away. You ask any modern youth of today's time, you ask him, have you planted any tulsi tree? He will say no. You ask him, have you worshipped any people tree? He will say no. You ask him, have you ever lived in village? Have you ever tried to create a hut? Have you ever planted a tree? He will say no. You ask him, what do you want to do? He will say, I want to go to United States. You ask him why? He will say, I want to join a multinational company. I want to lead a very rich life. I want to buy 2 cars. I want to do this thing. I want to do that thing. I want to do this thing. I want to do that thing. You know, where are we taking our people? We are destroying our ecosystem. We are destroying our economy. We are destroying our traditions. We are destroying our culture. We are destroying our ecosystem. We are destroying our own nation. Our modern education system is destroying our own rich cultural values or rich cultural heritage. It was part of our rich cultural heritage to plant trees, to plant tulsi plant, to respect people tree, to plant lot of trees, to create small huts, to rear cow. Every home should have one cow. These were all traditions of India. All these traditions, the cultures, the rich heritage of India has withered away because of our generation. Our generation is responsible for this. And what is the impact? Instead of very clean, environmental friendly life, very happy life, we are today finding urban slums all around, which are filthy, which do not have cleanliness, which are just giving no attention to the environment. The government is still not taking any action, investing no money for rural development after 7 decades of India's independence. Even today, we are trying to import policies from the West. We are not investing our time and our resources towards development of our own rich cultural heritage, towards own our uh, rural economic structure. India has world's best system with regard to environment, but are we really paying attention to it? We have abandoned our own culture, we have abandoned our own heritage, we have abandoned our own rich value system, which have resulted in massive loss to the entire humanity. Yes, this is a loss to the entire humanity. And the most important thing here is we have not been able to create the kind of urban infrastructure that we wanted to create, because we wanted to imitate the West. In order to imitate the West, we wanted to create cities just like those in developed countries, but we have failed miserably because of very poor bureaucratic system that we have adopted. What do you find in the United States? There you find that government servants are very dedicated. They are putting in their duties with very high level of sincerity. And what do you find in India? There is massive corruption. Government employees are careless. They are not either working hard, they are not working hard, and also working hours are very less. Working days are very less. Government employees need an opportunity to get a leave. In a year, they hardly work for 200 days. Out of 365 days, they hardly work for 200 days. More than 50 days are Sundays, then more than 50 days are Saturdays, 100 days are gone, right? They want all these things. Plus, there are plenty of festivals, this day, holiday, this day, another holiday, this day, another holiday. Then many times they have directly or indirectly supported a strike. And then ultimately, what is the result? No work. The common people of India are facing so many problems due to inefficient government system. People have to take permission for very small things, and for those small permissions they have to keep visiting the government department, which are highly inefficient and very difficult to approach. The government has introduced e-governance, but the bureaucrats don't want e-governance to be implemented. So what is the result? It is half-baked e-governance. People have to still go to the government department for any minor things, which can be done by themselves at their home, but they have to go. For example, a farmer has to go to Patwari to get Jamabandi. Why can't he download Jamabandi from his own home? No, because the Jamabandi which is signed by the Patwaris will only be valid. These are why is this kind of system? It is because these people, the Patwaris and all these people, they are highly corrupt. Generally, exceptions apart, there may be a few patwaris you may find who are very honest people, but a general practice is that most of these people are very corrupt. And therefore, these people have created very high bureaucratic system. All these have resulted in problems for the common people, problems for the farmers who are responsible. Our generation is responsible. We have to break them down. How? The only way is we cannot go back now. We cannot now again create the great Indian system which we used to have, the rural economic structure. We cannot go back. There's no way to go back. There's only one way to go forward. What is that? We have to introduce new technologies, which are green technologies. What we have to do? We have to introduce green technologies. We have to introduce massive e-gardens. We have to completely curtail the possibility of human interactions with government departments, because government departments are massively corrupt. If we can implement e-governance, make it easy for everybody to download every document, and there should not be any scope for corruption, then these problems will be solved. So we require investment into technology, we require investment into innovation, we require initiatives by people like you who are innovative. They can come forward and they can establish a system which is truly people friendly, which is truly e-governance friendly. These things have to be implemented, right? And then we will have a truly proper ethical system. India will be emerging as great ethical country after transit. This is a period of transit, and this is the period when moralities, ethics, values, these are questioned. These are at a very difficult structure. People don't follow morality. People don't follow ethics. And most of the people, give some or other excuse, and they try to avoid following ethics. These justifications are because of this is transit time. If we will be able to safely transit this time and establish a really good system, we will be able to put in place a very ethical and very high morality based system, and thereafter people will start following. Positive time will come, but that will come through your initiative. You have to take the lead now. The principles of ethics and principles of morality should pervade in all parts of life. We have to focus on social skills, people. We have to train people in ethical skills. We have to train people in self-help skills. Self-help skills are like, we have to train people about diet. We have to train people about hygiene. We have to train people in modesty, about posture, about their own body language, about their appearance. All these are basic things that has to be taught to the youth, so that we have a really good looking but good behaving people. Then social skills, we have to train people in how to create good relations, how to keep smiling, how to maintain good behavior, how to learn good manners, how to maintain good relationships, how to be helpful to others, how to be how to be courteous with others. Then we have to train people in ethical skills, that they should know when to say a no. They should know which type of code of conduct to follow. They should have courage to follow the code of conduct, and they should not compromise with their code of conduct. They should understand their duty. They should understand the basic characteristics of their job, their roles. They should be punctual. They should be respectful to others. They should follow the principles of professional conduct. They should be very honest, firm, determined, but at the same time, they should show humility, politeness, gratitude, justice, equanimity, calmness, dignity, and professional competence. So, people have to be trained. New India is to be trained. New country has to come now. And new generation has to adopt these things in their everyday life. Professional values, ethical code of conduct, these things require us to understand that we have to create a new system, because the old system has now disappeared. Rather, we have ourselves obliterated our age old system. Our age old system was very good, there was no doubt, it was outstanding. But the Britishers wanted to destroy it because they wanted to rule over India. And after the Britishers left, we continued to be ruled by those people who were trained in the British system and who did not admire traditional Indian system. And therefore, slowly and steadily, we have really destroyed our own age-old system. We have destroyed, but we have failed to recreate. So it is now duty for all of us to create a new system, to establish new set of values. Professional code of conduct has to be established. Everybody should establish at his or her level new benchmark and establish them before others. You have to become a pioneer in yourself, each one of you. You have to set before the world example about how to act, how to behave. You have to set very high level of standards which can show to the world how to lead a moral, ethical, and responsible life. Your duties and responsibilities include the duties and responsibilities to create a very positive and responsible framework of mind. You have to create a positive mind, positive attitude. You have to create a positive approach towards environment, and you have to encourage others to adopt. Your task, your duties are tremendous. If possible, you have to also try to preserve and protect rich Indian heritage, which is still available at a very, very difficult juncture. Indian heritage, Indian values, Indian traditions, which had a glorious past, are now almost extinct. But if people like you can determine, you can still try to revive some of them amongst the new modern lifestyle, the new modern framework. The new modern framework, the new modern lifestyle is mostly copied from the West, but that's very dangerous. We have copied all the best bad elements of the West, but we have failed to copy their good things. The people in the West are very punctual, but we have not copied that. People in the West are very dedicated to their work. They are very committed towards professional ethics. We have not copied that. We need to copy that. If and we also have to respect age-old values, age-old rich heritage, and the most important thing obviously is environment. That is the most important thing today. Environment is and will remain the most important thing. All the decisions that we take as professional manager should reflect our commitment to environment. We should feel proud in sharing the stories of those people who have sacrificed their life for the environment. In our country, we had many people who have sacrificed their life for the environment. We should share their stories with the youth so that people again become committed to the cause of the environment, right? We have, this is a country where people have loved animals, birds, and biodiversity so much that it is beyond our own thinking. We have to revive it, right? We have to revive it. We have to again respect and love biodiversity, animals, birds, all living species. We should offer respect to them, enable them also to live and let live. This should be our mode of conduct.